Hello, very good morning to all of you. Welcome back to the video lecture series. So, dear friends, we are discussing here the protein analysis part of our food analysis section, first of paper CHA 393B. Okay, we have started the protein characterization. In that, yesterday we have discussed about the amino acid analysis by the hydrolysis of proteins in 6-normal HCl. Okay, so hydrochloric acid is used for the hydrolysis of the proteins. Okay, and when the hydrolysis is done after 24 to 48 hours, all these amino acids are separated into a group of amino acids, and then they are separated by using cation exchange chromatography and gas liquid chromatography, etc. Okay, and then post derivatization by ninhydrin reagent. Okay, now our today's topic is protein nutritional quality. So this term indicates that from this information we are able to get the nutritional value of a protein. Okay, means if we have a food product and we have to market it in a national or international level, then we should give a label, we should print a label on that packaging material, and that includes the protein nutritional value, okay, or protein nutritional quality. And such protein nutritional quality can be determined by using some procedures, and that procedures that we have to follow here, that we have to discuss here. Okay, now this protein nutritional quality mainly depends upon the amino acid composition. Okay, means which amino acids are present and what is the importance of these amino acids, what is the amount of that amino acids present in the given protein sample. All such information is given in the protein nutritional quality information. Okay, so that's why along with that amino acid composition, the digestibility of protein is very important. Digestibility means when we consume, when a human being or a person is consuming that protein, what is the digestibility ratio, what is the percentage of digestibility of that protein when it is consumed by a person, that is also important regarding the protein nutritional quality. Okay, and hence these in these methods we are going to see the two factors, that is, one is amino acid composition and second one is digestibility of that protein. Okay, we know that the amino acids which are present in the nature, all these amino acids are categorized into two main kinds, and these are essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. Okay, so what are essential amino acids? Essential amino acids are those amino acids which are not synthesized in the individual's body, means what? Our body is also capable of synthesizing its own amino acids. And that amino acids which are synthesized in our own body are called as non-essential amino acids. Means they are not needed in our diet, that are not essential for to be present in our food. Okay, because they are already present, they are already synthesized, they are already built up in our body. Okay, by different anabolic, catabolic and metabolic processes, these amino acids are synthesized in our body. So that's why these amino acids are called as non-essential amino acids. But those amino acids which are synthesized, which are synthesized in our body are called as non-essential amino acids. Those are synthesized in our body are called as non-essential because they are synthesized in our body, and those amino acids which are not synthesized in our body but they require in our food or in our diet are called as essential amino acids. Okay, so what are the essential amino acids for a human being? These are generally histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan and valine. On an average, from an infant to a elder person, the amino acids are categorized into essential and non-essential, and for human being this list is for the essential amino acids, means these amino acids must be included in our food, in our diet. Okay, now the next most important definition or topic is the first limiting amino acid. First limiting amino acids means this is the essential amino acids in our food that is present in lowest amount, so essential amino acid which is present in lowest amount in our food is called as first limiting amino acid. Okay, this definition is important. First limiting amino acid is defined as the essential amino acid which is present in lowest amount, in our food or in our diet is called as first limiting amino acid. Okay, now the protein digestibility, the method is there. We are now going to see a method for the estimation of protein nutritional quality, determination of protein nutritional quality. What is the nutritional value, what is the nutritional quality of that protein? That can be determined by using a process, and that process is known as protein digestibility corrected amino acid score. Protein digestibility corrected amino acid score. Okay, the short form of this is called as PDCAAS, or in short PDCAAS. Protein digestibility corrected amino acid score. This is the method for the estimation of protein nutritional quality of a given protein sample or a given food sample. Okay, now what is the principle of this method? This method estimates protein nutritional quality. This method estimates protein nutritional quality by combining information by two. The first one is a calculation that compares amount of first limiting amino acid in protein, okay, to amount of that amino acid in reference protein. And second information is that in vivo assay measuring digestibility of the protein by rats. Rats means mice. Mouse, that is the animals. Okay, mammalian animals. Okay, so this is the principle of this PDCAAS method. What is this principle? Principle is very simple. Actually, this method is giving, or it is determining the protein nutritional value by estimating or by combining a information from two main themes. Okay, that are, the first one is a calculation that compares amount of limiting amino acid in protein to amount of that amino acid in a reference protein. Okay, and second information is that in vivo assay measuring digestibility of that protein in the by rats, that is by mammalian animals, and then the comparison of that digestibility of that protein by rats is then compared with the human being. Okay. Now what is meant by in vivo assay? There are two types of assay. One is called as in vivo assay and second one is called as in vitro assay. So what is meant by in vivo assay? In vivo assay means when we are going to use some animals or some organisms, let us say, then that analysis or that assay is called as in vivo analysis or in vivo assay. And when we are going to use some physiological methods or some chemical methods, physical methods, then that assay or that analysis is called as in vitro analysis or in vitro assay. Okay. So here we are going to use here the rats, the animals we are going to use for the for checking the digestibility, for measuring the digestibility of that protein by rats, and then comparing that data obtained from that rats with the human being. So that's why this assay is called as in vivo analysis or in vivo assay. Now the procedure for this PDCAS method is, first of all, determine the amino acid composition. Amino acid composition that we have discussed in the last lecture, amino acid composition we have to determine, and then by determination of each amino acid composition, then we have data about which amino acids are present in which amount in the given protein or food sample. Okay. Then amino acid score can be calculated by taking a ratio of milligram of concerned amino acid in 1 gram of test protein, milligram of that amino acid in 1 gram of protein to milligram of amino acid in 1 gram of reference protein. Okay. So this is the ratio, and this ratio will give you the information related known as amino acid score. Then the male rats, not female, the male rats are fed with 10% test protein. The test protein is that the protein that we are going to analyze or assay for the nutritional quality, for its nutritional quality. That protein is fed, 10% protein, test protein is fed to the male rats. Okay. Then the true digestibility of that protein, can be calculated, can be determined by doing nitrogen ingestion, total nitrogen ingestion by that rats, and the metabolic loss by that nitrogen, metabolic losses of that nitrogen by the feces. Okay. So that's why the true digestibility is calculated in this way. Okay. Then calculation part is there. The PDCAS, that is protein digestibility corrected amino acid score, is equal to amino acid score, this one, the amino acid score is calculated by this ratio, amino acid score into percent true digestibility, okay. And the for nutritional labeling, percent daily value is equal to percent daily value of that protein is equal to 100 into gram of protein divided by servings. Serving means what amount of protein that we are going to serve, it is called as serving. Okay. 100 into gram of protein divided by serving into PDCAS value. So this value that we obtained in the earlier calculation, okay, divided by 50 gram of protein. Okay. So these two equations are useful for the calculation of PDCAS value and for nutritional labeling the percent daily value. Okay. Now what are the applications? Then the application part of this is it is very essential for the labeling, nutritional labeling. Okay, so any food product which is richer or having higher percentage of protein content in that food sample must have a nutritional labeling. Okay, and for that this protein nutritional quality is essential, and that can be obtained by this method known as PDCAAS, that is PDCAAS method. Okay, generally this method is very useful as compared to the next procedure that we are going to see, that is known as protein efficiency ratio, that is PER method, because in that PER method the rat growth is measured. Measurement of rat growth is done and it is related with the human being. Okay, but here in this case it is the combination of two, that is amino acid score and true digestibility by the rats. So that's why this method is giving, this next method is giving only information related to human infants, that is babies, human babies. Okay, the small children, related their requirement of protein requirement by the babies. Okay, but this information, this method is giving the information related to the adults and all types of human beings, means starting from infants, then adolescents, then adults and old persons. Okay, so that's why this is having a greatest application value. Okay, then this method includes information on both amino acid composition and protein digestibility. Okay, so both information is taken here, that is protein digestibility and amino acid score. Okay, so that's why the factors which are the these are the factors that determine the protein nutritional quality. These are the two main factors which decides the protein nutritional quality. Okay, so this is about the PDCAAS method. Now next one is the protein efficiency ratio, PER. Okay, in short it is called as PER, protein efficiency ratio. Efficiency ratio means this is a division or a ratio of how much amount of protein is utilized, that is called as protein efficiency. Okay, and that is a comparable study with that of the rat and that of human being. Okay, what is the principle here? The principle of this method is protein efficiency ratio, that is PER, estimates protein nutritional quality by in vivo assay, that is by using organisms such as rats, by measuring rat growth, as I already told you that by measuring rat growth as weight gain per gram of protein feed, weight gain of that rat per gram of protein feed. We are going to feed that rats the protein, the specific proteins that we are going to feed to that rats, a group of rats. Okay, and then the weight gain, okay, weight gain is measured of that group of rats, okay, male rats generally, and then the data is collected. Okay, so this is the principle of protein efficiency ratio. Now the procedure is that first of all we have to determine the nitrogen content of the test protein. Nitrogen content we have to determine by either by Geldan method, by nitrogen combustion Dumas method that we have discussed in the previous section. Okay, or by Lowry method, etc. Number of methods are there, 6 to 7 methods are there. First of all we have to determine the nitrogen content of the protein. Okay, protein containing sample, and then the protein content, nitrogen content, and then convert it into a protein content of the sample, protein containing sample. Okay, then next one is formulate a standardized diet, for test protein, okay, and a casein control diet. So we have two cases, we have a protein content, a specific protein is there. We have a specific protein of interest, specific protein of interest, and second one is casein protein. Casein protein. So casein protein is taken for the reference, okay, and all these values for the concerned protein, for the specific protein, are compared with that of this casein protein. Okay, so that's why we have to formulate a standardized test protein diet and a casein control diet to each containing 10% protein. The ratio or the concentration of the both, that is specific protein and the casein protein, should be 10%. Okay, then we have to feed a group of male rats. We have to feed a group of male rats these specific proteins. Okay, test protein diet and water up to 28 days. Up to 28 days. So this is a time consuming process. We have to feed that specific protein of interest for the a group of rats, male rats specifically, for consecutively 28 days. Then measure the growth of these rats at an interval of 7th day, 14th day, 21st day and 28th day. 28th day. Measure the growth of that rats, a group of rats, at an interval of 7th day, 14th day, 21st day and 28th day. Okay, so continuous monitoring is essential, and this weight gain of these rats must be noted. Okay, so you have to note all the data related to weight gain of the rats along with the protein feed, specific protein of interest, how much amount of protein that you are going to feed to that rats. All this information should be noted, and then it is useful for the calculation purpose. Okay, so what is the calculation? So all this information you should be note down in your diary or in your notebook. Okay, then calculation part is there. The protein efficiency ratio is equal to total weight gain. We have a data, so we know that how much amount of weight gain is done for that rats. Total weight gain of test protein divided by total protein consumed by that rats. Total protein consumed by that rats in gram. So both are in grams. So this is the ratio. So that's why it is a unitless. So this is the PER, that is protein efficiency ratio. And then corrected protein efficiency ratio can be calculated by taking a specific value for the casein protein, and that is, it is taken from the literature, and corrected protein efficiency ratio is then calculated by using a ratio PER of test protein divided by PER of casein control. So this PER of casein control can be taken from the literature, or it is a given value, or it can be estimated for by using a standard procedure for this casein protein. Okay, and this ratio of test protein, PER value of test protein to PER value of casein protein, gives you the value of corrected PER, the value of corrected PER. Okay, so that's why this method is known as PER, that is protein efficiency ratio, for the estimation of protein nutritional quality. Okay, but this method have some limitations that we have already told you, that because we are feeding here the male rats, the protein requirement of male rat, protein requirement of male younger adult male rats is equivalent to protein requirement of human babies or human infants. Okay, so that's why the information obtained from this PER method is not applied to the adult persons of human being, okay. So that's why this is one of the limitation for this method. Other things are similar to that of this PDCAS method and this PER method, okay, but this is one of the limitation, okay. So this is all about the protein nutritional quality. There are two methods are there: protein digestibility corrected amino acid score and protein efficiency ratio, okay. Next time in the next lecture we will see the remaining part of this section, okay. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day.